Greetings, flesh creatures. It is I, Megatron. On behalf of TFYLP, I want to congratulate you for listening to the most refined collected podcast on this miserable little planet Earth. Yes. Here you'll find knowledgeable fans discussing every aspect of Transformers and beyond. Now, enjoy the show while I continue my path to complete conquest of all of you miserable biological entities. Predacons, terrorize!
Hi, welcome to TFYLP, episode 622. We are live tonight. It is Tuesday, June 17th. I'm Lucas. I'm joined tonight by Rob.
Howdy.
And Christian.
What up?
And Paul.
I'm back. You can't keep me away.
There you go. And Phil.
What's up?
Welcome, guys. We got a full house tonight. So everyone was excited to talk GoBots, I guess. So it's got that going for us.
Wait, we're not talking about Gundams?
Gundams.
I wear the wrong shirt again?
Oh, was it?
Okay.
Was it supposed to be Gundams? Did I post the wrong topic?
I don't know. I heard G and robots, and I just assumed it was
man.
Gundam.
Don't you know what you do when you assume?
Apparently Paul's leaving already.
Yeah.
Show's already gotten better.
All right. So G.I. Joe it is.
Oh, there you go.
Well,
G-
see you guys. Bye.
So before we get into talking about GoBots, we have some Transformers to discuss because apparently they had a stream for like the first time in how many months, Christian?
5
months. So it's been a minute.
They didn't even do one for Lyle Kaiser.
Who needs a stream when the internet's leaking everything anyways?
Well, they don't have any employees. I mean, how can you expect them to do a stream?
Aren't they doing them for other brands?
They were joking about that on the.
Oh,
on
were
the stream.
they?
Kind of. Like,
Really?
Whoa! It's been a minute. At the very beginning, it was, it was a little bit veiled, but.
Is Mark still there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only person I know anymore that has anything to do with Transformers at Hasbro.
Mark's the baby goat.
What about Evan?
What's the word on what's the word on BMAC?
He's on Army Guys versus
G.I.
Snake Terrorists now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where he belongs. Great. They mentioned Evan. We didn't see his face though, so I mean they might be talking about him in the past tense. We don't know. Till I see his face, I won't believe it.
Yeah, this new Nate guy I'm not a fan of very much.
Oh, marketing
Hater.
guy.
Yeah.
I liked.
Hi, fellow kids.
I think he's all right. I don't know.
Who was the old marketing person on it?
BMAC?
No, but the one before there was wasn't there like
A woman?
a woman that was on it that like
Oh yeah, her.
she was cool. I liked
She was
her.
really good.
Yeah. I mean BMAC was good too, so it's like not to say that like I didn't think he was too
I
bad.
think she got promoted to a manager position after she had a baby.
Oh.
She filled a vacant spot, potentially.
Christian's got like a whole.
It's like
org
Swiss
chart
cheese
at
up there
Hasbro.
at Hasbro.
I should have a whole org chart of Hasbro at this point.
There you
You gotta
go.
work there to have that.
I will say like some of the marketing dudes on Marvel Legends when they first came on, I did not enjoy them, and I've really grown to like them a lot more. So maybe the new guy for Transformers will grow into it, but I don't know. He does seem like a little bit too pro forma and like, oh, I'm doing this because I have to be here and they pay me.
I mean, that's why we're all at our jobs, right?
It's true.
I don't know. I think
Not all of us.
I don't get that impression at all. Like I get an impression of a guy that is maybe not super comfortable in front of the camera, but like is taking the leap. And
You know
I
what?
don't-
Mark was like that early on, so maybe I just need to give him some time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's.
I
I
don't
think
know.
he understands the product good, and that's really what matters. Whether he's a super fan or not does not matter. But if he knows who Devastator is, he's already doing pretty damn good.
I mean, unless he's showing third-party pictures of Devastators and on the Hasbro stream and thinks that they're, the actual product, then not so much. But
That's never happened before.
totally never happened.
When did that happen? I'm not familiar with that off the top of my head.
There's been some like BotCon presentations back when Hasbro used to do them, and maybe when they used to do the award ceremonies, and I
Okay.
swear in some of those they've like, here's pictures of toys, and it's like Devastator. It's like, yep, that is a third party toy, and I know we've seen other official stuff come out of Hasbro that, like I want to say one time we saw MMC's Feral Rex in something official Hasbro put out.
Those
You know.
are designed in the Earth Wars game or whatever. It is those toys that are the Predacons.
Really?
Yeah. Like you
Whoops.
play, they've been there for the whole 4 or 5 years. The game has been there. So
That's great.
Not 9 years that game has existed.
Right, but the combiners haven't.
It's an old game.
Yeah.
It's an old game. And didn't they just get sold or something? They changed
did they?
owners or something?
Wow.
Yeah. So I know I haven't played the game in a while, but I still see some like Facebook posts about it here and there, and people were like freaking out about it. But I mean, they also constantly bash on Space Ape or whoever it is that owned it before that, or maybe even still currently owns it that hasn't switched it or whatever. So internet never going to be happy.
It's like the longest running Transformer media at this point, right? Was IDW, were the IDW books, did that last longer?
No, yeah, they did. They were 13 years, weren't they?
Okay.
Depends on if you want to count the reboots as part of it.
Yeah, there's like 3 reboots in there or something, effectively.
It's kind of just one, but I don't know. Depends how you want to. Like they kept the one.
There's definitely totally different errors. There's
different eras, but like
distinct.
that happens in all like comic books where you kind of change over creative teams and whatnot. But like when they totally rebooted the continuity, to me that would be a dividing line.
Yeah, All Hell Megatron was definitely a soft reboot. But anywho's, what are we talking about? What did they do? What did they put on the stream? Because I didn't watch it.
Venom.
Oh,
right?
Venom looks
Venom.
Cool. Yeah, I saw something.
Venom. Is that what we call him now?
We've been calling him that for about 10 years.
Okay.
I was sitting there.
Venom.
That was billed as Venom before they revealed it, and I was like, "Oh, sweet! It's not going to be Venom this year." And
is there anybody who didn't like that toy? Who looked at it and was like, "Eh"?
I like it. I love the colors. I still think like the G1 toy has some problems, like with the way the wings like are built, like right here on his like hips, and the way the head kind of looks in bug mode is sort of just like that's just the robot head and turned it a little bit. And to me, it's just like, all right, you were a little too slavish to the G1 toy instead of improving upon some of those, problem type things. But I don't know. It's at least the first of the deluxe Insecticons that we're getting a fully brand new toy for.
Did they say they're going to do the other 3, or did they talk about it at all?
They've been done. Venom's the last one.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm behind the times.
Ransack was Kickback, and then Barrage and Chop Shop were Scrapnel.
Oh, okay. They didn't get original molds. That's
right.
Right.
Yeah, that's probably why I tuned it out.
Yeah.
Well, like Venom, though, this is the only like toy we've ever gotten of Venom after G1, right? Like, I don't think anyone has done them, right? Or am I crazy? Like getting third party?
I know Fans Toy or Fans Project did the Insecticons, and then they did a box set of the deluxe Insecticons.
But Venom wasn't part of that.
But I was gonna say, but I couldn't remember if Venom, if it was just 3 or if they did the 4.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. They only did 3.
No, because the other 3 are like share the same insect as the regular Insecticons.
Yeah.
So yeah, Venom is the outlier as the whatchamacallit? What the fudge is he? Cicada.
Well, congrats on him for getting a new mold dedicated to himself.
Mm-hmm. I do like his axe a lot. I love his colors. I will say, like, his colors are some of the like most jump off the page, jump off your shelf colors of a lot of Transformers.
So they did a stream for Venom, but not one for 86 Megatron.
Correct.
86 Megatron hasn't
No.
officially been like put up for pre-order though.
They did it in sequence. They do all the. Well, now it's Age of the Prime, so they only talk about Age of the Prime's toys unless there's like an exclusive or something that crosses the boundary. But then they do. The next one will be Studio Series, and they'll do that.
So there's still a chance.
Streamed, yeah, because
it will happen, unless they
Okay.
do that Dark of the Moon wave where they just kind of put it up on a random Sunday on Facebook and said, "Hey, new toys." But for Megatron, I think they'll do something more real.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll get some fanfare.
Well, the funny
car
thing is
release
I thought
schedule is different
I
than
thought I
that.
heard there's a rumor that Megatron was already like at port. Like, I don't know, maybe that's not accurate, but
Who told you that? JT Prime?
no,
Told
T Cracker.
I think it was Ryan.
Big Balls
But-
James and TF Universal on Facebook. 100.
Isn't he Uncle T Cracker now?
I don't know. Who knows? But
You know what I heard was not Paul.
what's that? It was not Paul. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's not coming from
don't
Paul,
care
it's
what
not
Paul-
accurate, right?
No.
Well, right, and even if he is
Always
saying I
wrong.
can't hear him.
Always wrong. If it's not for me.
So,
We,
is there
we
anything
got
else on the
Patriot
screen? or was
Prime
that it?
in the chat here, so there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we got what? First time as a toy? What's his name? The Red Alert repaint.
Flatline.
Flatline, there we go.
Who?
The IDW Decepticon medic that just kind of slices people up.
He's a movie original character. He appeared first in Reign of Starscream, then made the jump to Robots in Disguise. He's a Decepticon
yeah.
medic.
I mean, what'd you say his name was? I literally couldn't hear you.
Flatline.
Flatline.
Like beep beep beep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, Rob
And he
can
steals
just
that
find,
mold from Red. Sorry.
Rob can just find out about the stream here live on our live stream.
That is correct. I mean, that crap happens like while I'm at work and usually in meetings and calls
Right.
and crap. So
It was the same for me too.
Yeah, I wasn't able to watch this. In fact, I haven't even gotten around to it yet.
I mean, and also, and unless somebody like talks about it in Facebook Messenger or in our
Right.
Facebook group or something like that, I'm not even going to see it
Mm-hmm.
until it's over, anyways.
I feel
And
like
half the time,
biggest-
people don't talk about it that much anymore. But
Yeah, I
does
think
anybody
people
care
are
about Flatline? Okay.
Yeah, he's neat. And like I said, he steals that mold from Red, which is cool.
When you say
I'm not a regular
steals, is that
cool
like
guy.
a story thing where he like steals his body or
No,
something?
he
Or are
just-
you just saying he uses
He
the
looks
same
better
mold?
using that toy than Red Alert.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Wee.
We got the last two aerial bots.
Right.
So we
I feel
got
like that was
Scott-
the biggest news, right? The completing Superion.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of non-news in a way? It's like it's coming, and especially aerial bots are kind of boring to me. Like I like them or whatever, but like they're kind of plain looking. They're plain looking planes, right? I wasn't trying to make that, but it happened. So it's like, okay, cool. They finally came out. Yay, it's done.
Especially with this engineering, they're very much rectangle with wings, tail, and nose cone.
It is accurate.
Yeah, but they don't have any sort of real streamlinedness. I think especially Slingshot, pleasantly surprised with how much I enjoy Age of the Prime Slingshot. Air Raid, maybe not as much as Jet Mode's a little too boxy for me. I always loved his G1 toy, just being very, very sleek, probably the sleekest of all the aerial bots. But I mean, these don't look bad. I forgot that Fireflight doesn't have the face mask in the cartoon.
Yep,
So
I did too.
Yeah, when I saw it,
I had to
was
go
like,
look.
what the
I was like,
heck?
"Where's his head from?" Oh, it's
Yeah.
literally the cartoon head. Oops.
Right. Like Skydive, I remember he just has the orange face, whereas the toy has like the kind of night grill. But but yeah, Firefly was like, wait, who? Huh? Why does he have air raid's head?
I only have one combiner from the newest stuff, and it's just G2 Breakdown because I generally pick up G2 Breakdowns other than like the expensive one, and just because I like the colors. But I don't know if man, it's kibbly as hell. I wasn't super impressed with it, and the only reason it's on my desk, like it literally came in last week or something. I finally bought it or whatever. But are they any more impressive, the aerial bots?
I mean, I think the combiner, like these new combiners, are just a lot more sturdy. They look a lot better.
Yeah.
And
then Combiner Wars, I didn't think was great to begin with. So like, it's not like I'm like, oh, Combiner Wars was so much better. It's just like, no, these are still kind of mid to me.
I mean, Combiner Wars was, kind of a victim of its time, where they were trying to get as much use out of those molds as possible. So a ton of reuse of the mold / engineering. The combiners themselves. Yeah. The combiners themselves were a little bit floppy messes. They got better. But Menasor was pretty janky. And to Lucas's point, the brand new Menasor that came out in Legacy, like that was an awesome toy. So if these combiners are as nice as that, at least for the combine mode, you're going to feel like you've got a really solid, sturdy toy.
Cool. Speaking of Menasors, saw today Fans Toys boxed image of the final, whatever the final bot is for their Menasor got shown. So like it's finally apparently going to come out. It's been like 6 years or something trying to finish that set. So I'm not even buying that set, but the drama on it's fun.
Yeah, I believe it when I see it.
I didn't realize that wasn't complete yet.
They start like X Transbot started there, so Fan Toys did the thing of, well, we'll put ours right away just to kill competition.
Right.
And then they started their Superion as well. They did finally finish Superion, but there was they had obviously engineering issues with like, oh man, we make kind of big toys with a bunch of die casts. How do we get them to hold together? And it just it just killed both of their combiners like dead in their tracks. But they finally wrapped up Superion, and now it looks like they're finally going to do the last bot for Menasor, supposedly. But as Christian said, believe it once it's actually shipping to people. But yeah, it's getting closer.
They started those combiners when I was still into Masterpiece.
That's how long ago?
It's been a minute.
I saw someone
it was pre-COVID. If it was 6 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Wow.
In the before times.
What happened at BotCon, Peef?
I just remember you brought up Menasor. I had a funny at BotCon where I was walking down the aisle and I saw some guy. You know how people like gleefully carry their giant boxes of shit sometimes? This guy had, what was it, Capone? What's the one that has the stupid
DX9.
long trailer? The thing that's
DX9
so dumb.
Capone.
I saw it, and it's like the longest box I've ever seen. And he's so happy, and I just wanted to punch him in the face. It was so funny. Because I don't know how much he paid for that thing, but he was just like, yeah. I was like, that is
for what it's worth.
Toy.
The toy's actually great. That whole set is really great. DX9 has, I think, really good engineers. It's an easy, fun set. I actually ended up swapping out, but the trailer
was a victim.
Looking.
I guess that's okay. If the rest of the set is good, congratulations.
Yeah, it's a dumb looking trailer. It's a big boy for sure.
So Rob,
what's more
your
dumb,
favorite?
that trailer or Silverbolt's like jet trailer for Age of the Primes?
They're both pretty dumb.
Yeah.
I love when my jets have trailers, personally. I wish they all had them.
Yeah.
But you know what? You can take that trailer off of the jet and it looks fine. You can't get the junk out of the trunk of that fucking truck.
That's true.
Nope. Where were you asking me, Lucas?
Oh, I was going to ask you, what is your favorite combiner?
I don't know. Piranacon. Duh. But
sorry,
honestly,
I should rephrase that. Not character. I mean, like third party, like as a figure. Like, if you could recommend and say that I should only get one combiner between Hasbro and Takara and whatever
Well, I mean,
random third
obviously it's going to
party.
be third. It's obviously going to be something third party with me,
Right.
because Takara's only done. I'm not going to say Hasbro.
MPG Raiden.
Like, and it's like I said, that's the one they've done,
that's
and
the one.
I've talked about that plenty. But I don't know. I would have to sit and talk to somebody.
Devastator.
I mean, MMC's Bruticus isn't the most accurate looking, but they're excellent toys. But I really like Magic Square's Bruticus toys that are coming out. Like, obviously it's not combined yet, but I did swap out, and now I'm just buying the Ruination version of the MMC one because I like the toys so much. But the Magic Square one so far I'm liking it. Again, the DX9 Minosaur is really good. The X Transbots Minosaur, the individual robots are great, but the combined mode, just because of the trailer for that one, is a nightmare. It's trash. Fans Toy Superion is good, but it's also boring because it's Superion, as we were talking about. I really wish people would get back to more like Computron, Piranacon, and Predaking. I wish. I would not say Fans Project, Instructor / Dino King. I would not say TF Club's Leo Kaiser or the Three Bots, Road King.
Oh,
Road Caesar. Sorry, Road Caesar. I wouldn't recommend those necessarily, and definitely, the older stuff. I wouldn't recommend any of those either. But
I mean, for an older one, I do enjoy Poseidon quite a bit.
The TF Club.
Yeah, the TF Club, Piranacon, Poseidon. That they're puffier. They're almost like Pat Lee Dreamwave style in terms of like the proportions. But I don't know, man. It's just
I've never combined them.
It'll take you a while, and your fingers will get chopped up.
Yeah, so I like them in monster mode, and I just left them that way. Unique Toys Blot is a really good figure.
Yeah.
Like, it made us think that like that whole combiner was going to be awesome. The rest of them are just your typical stuff, but Blot was really fun.
Blot is a ton of fun. Yeah, I agree. Or Troll. Isn't his name Troll in that?
I can't remember.
Wasn't that TFCon Chicago, like the basement TFCon Chicago when that first came out?
I do not remember.
Okay. You know what I can remember? That we were talking about the stream. We didn't finish all the stuff that was revealed on it.
Christian,
and we've gone
that's
really
not
far
even the posted topic. It's
how
fine.
did we get to classic third-party combiners over recent?
We were talking about Superion.
Get us back on topic. What else is on the stream? So we can get to our
here, Christian.
Who's the deluxe that I'm forgetting about? So we got
Micronus?
Venom. We got Micronus. Yes, aka Autobot T-Bot.
Phil's penis.
I wish it was that big.
Now, Micronus is cool. He turns into a Minicon panel, and he's got like the Apex armor around him. So he's kind of the modern Pretender.
Oh.
It's kind of neat.
Yeah.
And then they re-showed Onyx because he's finally up for order too.
Yeah. Was there another Voyager?
Who's the other Voyager?
I actually kind of have a modern Pretender that also just came in last week.
Oh,
Fans Hobby
Fans Hobby?
Yeah. It's cool. I mean,
the picture's like...
we haven't seen anybody really try to do
Alpha Triumph.
Any sort of a real Pretender. So, I don't know. It's just the armor bits that you pop on, but that's pretty much how Pretenders were. Just instead of a shell, now it's like a bunch of little shells with a nice derpy face. It looks less derpy than the BotCon Metal Hawk, but it's very anime.
That one's very derpy. The other Voyager is Alpha Trion.
Yes. And that's
he's like younger.
Is that a repaint or a new mold?
Right?
Nope, he's got a new mold. I thought he was going to be a Vector repaint, but I was wrong.
I thought it shared some engineering with Scourge.
Nope, because there's not a Scourge that looks like.
The Studio Series 86?
There was an Alpha Trion based on that a couple years ago. Not this one though.
I know, but it's just like the way the top of the ship kind of lays down like over his head. well, pardon me, really reminded me of that 86 mold. I could be wrong. Probably am.
I'm gonna look at it. I don't think so.
Do you guys remember, the song from They Might Be Giants, Triangle Man?
Nope.
Sure.
Or was it Particle Man?
Particle Man.
Although,
Particle
spoilers
Man.
for the rest of this episode. When you guys are going to say, "Do you remember stuff?" It's always going to be me saying no. So
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Did you?
Well, in the song Particle Man by the Might
Back
Be
in my
Giants,
day.
there's also a character mentioned in the song named Triangle Man, and that's who I think Alpha Trion looks like, because his vehicle mode is a triangle.
triangle.
Yeah, triangle.
Christian, are you
Triangle
pointing out
Man,
that we're a
Triangle
hyper
Man,
diverse cast
Triangle
of
Man
white
fights
males?
Particle Man.
I think that Christian's pointing out that we're all old except for him.
Correct. Even though I'm not young anymore.
We all have beards of some sort.
Did you say
We all have
sword?
Yeah.
We all have
Wait, and-
basements.
We all have graying beards. All of our beards got some gray, various amounts.
I don't think Christian
Nope.
has a basement.
No, I mean not Christian. I meant the rest of us. Us older folks.
Yeah.
Incorrect, sir.
The royal we.
Well, let me just
Yeah.
tell you,
Well,
the carpet matches the drapes.
So yeah, it was a good stream. We also briefly
My
saw
Cronus is,
before that Target's
forced.
new stuff and Amazon. Oh, they showed off the Amazon exclusive Sandstorm versus Slugslinger. Sandstorm is exactly the same paint ops, but he has the cartoon head, which is fine, I guess.
And Slug
That's a
Slinger is just new
riot.
paint, nothing new.
Slugslinger's
in
a
terms of mold.
repaint. Nope.
Yeah, but no new mold on that, right? No new head,
Nope.
no. Wow.
It's black though. That's kind of cool. I mean, it's never had that.
I think it's really, really dark blue.
Yeah, I want to say it's like a dark
Comparatively,
navy.
you might as well call it black. I mean, I'm just saying compared to the
Fair.
other.
Yeah, it's even darker than the LG one was. So yes.
Yeah. Did you know tortoises can see better between black and navy than humans?
Good for them.
Yeah.
There you go.
There's
Thanks for the fun fact, Phil.
there's a condition some people have where their eyes actually can see more colors than most humans, and like they can tell the differences in certain shades that I can't remember what it's called.
Heterochromat is what they are.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Because they have
So that's
four of the things that see
rods or cones or something.
Yeah, four things that have rods and cones in them versus we have three normally.
Since we're talking about fucking worthless facts, did you know that some cultures in planet Earth think there are two colors, and they're just shades of warm and cool?
It's weird.
Yeah,
Did not know that.
That's kind of wild.
That's my designer talking.
Like
So-
a mantis shrimp. Okay. Please
We also saw
go.
the Target stuff
Uh,
right before that. We saw the new 4-pack.
I brought Plico
Madness,
Plico
Bumper,
in here, by
Nemesis,
the
and
way.
Horrible.
You can thank me
What?
for expanding the audience.
Thank you, Paul. And then some Devastation stuff and some more Cybertron stuff. But I don't think you guys are interested in that. 4-pack was cool, though. Bumper gets
Yeah,
a toy for the first time since '84.
Man, those 4-packs are where it's at every time.
Right?
Except for maybe the Troop Builder. That was the only one that I felt like was kind of a dud.
Yeah.
I wish I had like 12 more Auto Troopers.
Well, then how is that 4-pack such a dud? It's just so, I guess because most people didn't really want all of them. They wanted just
Yeah.
one, but they wanted a bunch of the one.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and then it was pretty diverse in how they spread it out. So it's like, oh, okay, you want the G1 Seeker, like you buy 3-4 packs with your buddy who wants the Auto Trooper. You give your buddy your 2 Auto Troopers, they give you their 2 Seekers, and there was what was it? Just the Alicon
And the G2 Trooper.
and the G2 Trooper. Well, right, but the Alicon and the Alicon and the Seeker were your G1. So if you want a G1 focus, you just get those 2, and then you had the G2 Trooper and then a Transformers animated character. So again, kind of spread out amongst the offerings.
You know, when that Liege Maximo finally comes out, that G2, the shelf warmers will have their day. G-Axis is suddenly going to be valuable. Those stupid Death Trooper guys are going to become valuable. Like, it's just going to be a bloodbath. And I think this Nemesis Prime, like even Patriot Prime just said, I like the Nemesis Prime. Yeah. For some reason, people didn't like the other animated stuff, but like as more of it comes out, like they've been trickling these out, just like how the Lightning Collection for Power Rangers worked. You know, you can't get your sets all together. It's like you get 2 or 3 of the 5 dudes, and then years later you get the rest. Let's look at the little headmasters or the
Horrible is in there, and he's finally finishing up a set from 10 years ago.
No, it wasn't that long ago with Fangry.
Well, okay, fine.
You know, I didn't realize that 4-pack actually went up for pre-order. I totally missed that.
Yeah,
it's been about 3 weeks.
Oh.
It's still available, I think, on Policy and Target.
It is. That's
you can also get the Devastation Redecos of Wheeljack Sideswipe.
You saying there's more important things going on in the world right now, Lucas, than this 4-pack?
No, I just missed it because I don't know. Apparently, I don't know.
You're not a true fan?
Yeah.
Even I already ordered the 4-pack because I'll probably keep, I think, 2 of them. Yeah.
Well, which 2 are you going to keep?
Magnus and Bumper.
If things don't go our way, no one will be getting that 4-pack. So enjoy your last days of life.
I'm keeping the Junior Headmaster and Bumper.
Got one of them right.
Yep. I wasn't gonna. I didn't care about Bumper till I saw him.
That's the dude. He hasn't had a toy since '84.
I already agreed to sell Christian my Magnus, but then I looked at that again. I'm like, oh, I kind of want it. So I'm still gonna sell it to you, but it's a.
I'll sell you mine instead.
So I won't.
If Phil wants to keep his.
Yeah. Oh, you'll sell it to Christian. No, I won't. I don't like it enough to want to keep it. I just like it more than I thought it would. More than I thought I would when I heard what it was going to be.
If you guys do that, we need to record the carbon footprint of that Magnus transaction.
No, it's that Phil would keep his and Rob would just send me his.
Yeah.
No, I like
that idea better.
Yeah. Where it's just like Magnus is flying across the country.
Or we'll just bring them to
you, Al Gore.
Hand them to each other. It's probably.
No, we have to ship them now.
All right.
And we got to do it like the weird. We got to figure out how USPS does it, where you ship something to South Carolina and somehow it goes to Jersey and then Michigan and then Alaska and then finally ends up in South Carolina.
Yeah. Otherwise, we got the barely changed War for Cybertron, Optimus, and Megatron that are also going to Target. They've got some red highlights on them now.
No. Yeah.
Those suck.
Woo.
That's lame.
I don't know why they would have done that, but they did it. Same reason I don't know why they reissued that ROTF Overload. There's just a full case of them sitting at my local Target. So,
well, did you guys see on Target.com how when the tariff stuff was happening, that Overload's price went up to $80?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
already import, guys. What do you?
Yeah. Well, this is this stuff's going to go up in price, so we're gonna do it ourselves.
I just want everyone to know that Entertainment Earth has not changed their prices since they made the bad decision, and they probably will never take them down. So you should never, ever, ever buy anything from those fucking assholes again.
How do you really feel?
Right.
He loves it.
Long time.
They know I'm watching.
Okay, I'm done with stream stuff and directly prior to stream stuff. It was nice to see them again after 5 months. I hope we don't wait 5 months for the next one.
I agree.
Did they say anything about why? Other than kind of acknowledging, it's been a hot minute.
No, they never did.
Sorry, because of this and that, or no.
No, I was really shocked that they didn't even do one for Lio Kaiser. They had a couple, short pre-recorded segments, but nothing live, nothing to talk about it.
I mean, that was at a time where they were, mid restructuring. The tariff stuff was going bananas, so they had other things to focus on. Honestly, they weren't even putting up a lot of stuff for pre-order at that point. So, in general, there was a pretty big gap in activity from Hasbro, marketing and otherwise. At least the consumer viewing, from a consumer vantage point. I'm sure inside they were fucking going
And internally and publicly, their CEO was like, "We're going to stop making toys." How do you?
Oh yeah,
feel
that
about
too.
Actually, we don't care because that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
So anyway, you guys are all really old, and you remember the GoBots versus Transformers stuff.
Oh yeah, I posted
The topic you guys wanted to talk about was, what did GoBots do better than Transformers?
Well, I'll tell you one thing that GoBots did much better. They would not have made this piece of shit right here. They did not make this hunk of.
Why did you buy
would they have
Sonic?
made
You picked that up
even
too?
this hunk of junk, which is even bigger hunk of junk. Because I have 2 kids that like Sonic, so I bought these.
Those things are just clearance bait, right? Like,
yes.
So I should return those immediately.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's yeah. Did you get did you get street dated, Paul? And they said like you can't buy this till June 22nd.
They did, and then I bought it today. So I was like, oh,
okay.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess they fibbed.
I guess they realized nobody's going to buy it. And they're like, fine, please.
Yeah.
Remember when they got revealed, the big thing? Everyone's like, he doesn't have red shoes. Like, not that it's going to be a piece of shit toy. It was that,
dude,
the shoes aren't red.
My 10-year-old literally complained about that his shoes aren't red. I'm not joking. Like he was like, and they both him and my 5-year-old were like, Tails doesn't have his tails. Where are Tails' tails?
So what's the point?
Why don't he just customize their feet then to get it the right color?
Well, then the car has a red hood.
Then then the car has a red and and I don't tolerate customizers in this house.
It's just accept it. You already have one.
No.
He does have tails. He has 2 tails of the airplane.
But then they're not the right. I mean, you could kind of argue that, but these aren't even really like. I guess where they come off the back, it's kind of like a tail. To me, it's more like the original MP Seeker mold, where he just has like the hip guard things that just dingle off. So I don't know. I've transformed this guy. The head transforms weird. I mean, it doesn't look like a terrible robot mode. The car mode is a lot more squat than I thought it would be. Tails, I haven't even bothered trying to transform.
Thank you for that non-Bandai sanctioned segue into the GoBots discussion.
Yeah, I'm just saying, GoBots would not have made those pieces of shit.
GoBots made it to market first, as far as I know, but just barely.
They did.
Yeah.
Both 84. Both had TV shows. Both had pretty successful transforming robot line.
Both had a movie.
One of them was successful-ish.
Oh,
or at least it's remembered fondly.
One of them isn't really remembered.
Yeah.
The one of them I had to get digitized and then sent pirate files to Rob because he wanted to see it.
Yeah.
And it put me to sleep multiple times. It was tough to watch. Just boring.
So, Rob, why don't you throw out some thesis statements here? This was your topic that you came up with. You posted it to us twice and you wanted to do it. So, do you think GoBots did some things better? And what are those things?
Sure. I think
please elucidate us.
I think the number one thing to me has always been combiners. I think the first Transformer combiner was Devastator, and I think he sucks as a toy. I mean, I love Devastator. I loved it as a kid. I don't think I even ever got all of them as a kid. I always wanted them, right? But after they got into the standard combiners, they were a lot better than Devastator. He's just a janky toy. It's fine. But they're still pretty boring. Whereas I think Puzzler and Monstrous / Devil Satan 6
Satan 6. That's right.
Yeah, I think those are just much better combiners. They're effectively integrated combiners. They don't have a bunch of add-on parts that you got to put on. I think both of them look cool in combined mode. And kudos to them for doing a monster combiner basically out of the gate. Whereas the Hasbro ones, once they started making combiners, they're all very samey. Which again, is what it is, and it's fine. But I just think GoBots did it better, or slash Machine Robo or whatever. That's the easiest one.
You can tell that Hasbro kind of took some engineering cues for Monstructor from Monstrous, in terms of the 6-bot combiner, the way the kind of the leg bots and the arm bots, are just the general shape of those bots and how they form the legs and the arms. There's some decent similarities between the two. But yeah, I would agree with Rob that in terms of those two combiners, much better. But then the combining suit, the power suits and that sort of thing, I always thought that
not as much. Yeah, not as much.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. The power suits were amazing. It gave a lot of interactivity or whatever to the figures you already had. And for some of us that didn't have money for a new combiner or whatever, you get the power suits and whatever and pretend to power it up, and I don't know. I have a soft spot for those figures.
I don't even own the power suit stuff. I don't know, I have a picture of me, I don't know, I guess it must have been maybe 3, maybe 4, something like that, opening up some of that at a Christmas. But I don't actually have any memories of really owning that toy too much. And I've never bothered to pick it up. Most of my GoBots I got in junk lots, I feel 15 years ago when I was rebuying stuff. But not all of it, but yeah.
That's the key there. Transformers made tons of memories for tons of people in different ways, and you don't really get that. You don't hear that a lot with GoBots.
Oh, I think there's a difference too. I grew up, under the poverty line, I'm sure. I had food, I had clothes or whatever. But so to get a Transformer, those were a little more expensive, right? That's going to be a birthday. That's going to be, a Christmas.
Right.
I got a Metroplex as a kid, and there's pictures of me opening that on Christmas Day. It was a big thing. And Snarl, I only really got a handful. Most everything else was yard sale. Which we know what yard sale toys are like. Whereas GoBots, I might could actually get, at some other time, or they'd show up even cheaper in a yard sale. So there were a little less momentum occasion because just generally they were cheaper. I'm sure I never had Puzzler Complete either as a kid. And of course, the show was nowhere near as memorable,
right?
Which I think is probably the biggest thing. It didn't have that attachment because hashtag to sell toys, right? That was the point. And the GoBots cartoon wasn't as good. But yeah, I don't know. From an engineering perspective, I think I got to give the combiners to those first two. And as much as I love, I just blinked on his name, the Rock Lord combiner, Fossil Source.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't the best combiner, and I hate to say it. It's the individual robots don't have their own 2 modes. They have their robot mode and then the part of the Fossil Source they form. And then you tack on armor bits on it, and he's kind of janky and kind of wobbly and stuff. So it's a great looking display piece, but it's not up there like I think Monstrous and Puzzler are.
Fossil Source is the concept to me is really cool though. The execution is a little lacking, but the concept of what that is still a fun thing. You saw one at BotCon, Paul?
Yeah, I saw one of those at BotCon in the box, Rob, and I never would have. My eyes would have just gone over it, except for you. You have enlightened me about this. I've seen the box, so when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, that's that stupid ass Dildosaurus thing." You want to guess a price on it?
If it was in the U.S.
In the U.S.
When?
I'll at least tell you this. It was on the top shelf of this particular booth, which had all sorts of non-Transformers stuff, which is always questionable to bring to a BotCon.
When was this?
About 72 hours ago.
Oh, you mean the recent BotCon? I thought you were saying one day I saw it. $750?
Oh, too low.
Really?
4 figures indeed.
Really? Oh.
I think it was 11. think it was.
I'm going to assume it was complete at least. When I got mine,
I mean, it was in the box, so I think it was. Maybe it was sealed even. I don't. I didn't.
oh wow,
I didn't give a shit. I was just like, oh,
yeah.
there. Oh, memory.
I mean, I got mine not that many years ago, but I bought it through Day Japan, through which I think came through Yahoo auctions. I think maybe ultimately or something like that. And I think I got mine for like $300-400, something like that. And there's a couple different boxes out there for it. There's the prototype version that never came out. It was supposed to get like a European release, and he was in yellow, and like you can see it in like some promotional stuff out there. I don't know if it made it to a catalog or not. It might have, but never made it out.
Well, since you have brought it up, I've like seen it around like
multiple
times.
Now that it exists and it'll catch your eye now.
It's kind of it's a unique box. Like once you know what it looks like, you kind of won't not see it again. So I think there was one at Kane County. Maybe there might have been two. But
really? Kane County. I feel like I've seen it there. Maybe not in box, but loose.
Yeah.
That's a very like Kane County toy.
Pleco, kind of beat me to it. Another thing I had on there that I thought GoBots actually did better was playsets. Now,
Transformers
Metroplex is
have
cool.
Playsets, right? I mean,
like Metroplex, Corpanock, Fort Max, like Omega Supreme ish, kind of. Like I think we had some cool Transformer stuff, but like I don't know, man, that big dumb AT-AT looking thing, that base, and it's got moving levers and floors in it and stuff. It's a very cool playset. I don't think Transformers got something that was more playset dedicated until you got to Grandis, and not many people have messed with that for obvious reasons. And that's because it's literally a playset box that folds open, and then you got fun playset stuff. But
the Micromasters were playsets. They had a lot of playsets in the Micromasters.
You were right, man. You were right.
Yeah.
And those things connect together. Yeah, those were pretty awesome.
Yeah, that make a city. Cool. That is a spot like in my collection that I do want to finish up at some point in my life. But yeah, I mean, I think one of the
early stuff though.
Yeah. One of the things I'll say about GoBots versus Transformers too is just the not as many repaints. So you had a lot more variety, especially in the vehicle modes. So it's one of those things
that's like a year one thing too. I would note, like after that, I feel Transformer repaints fell off a cliff. In my opinion, but
the
Diaclone era stuff. Yeah, there was a lot of repaints.
Yes, but I guess I feel like if we're comparing like the time frames, like the early G1 Transformers and GoBots were contemporaries. Once you started getting into like Transformers the movie and Headmasters, then GoBots
was done.
Yeah.
That's one thing Transformers did better than GoBots, surviving.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, I mean, you just in terms of those early releases, there was just so many like crazy GoBots, and they had, I would say, more personality to them. Like the freaking limo that turns into a robot with a top hat. And then if you compare even some of them like appear to appear, so like the GoBot ambulance compared to Ratchet, that the G1 Ratchet toy is a mess. It sucks. And then Rest Q, which is the name of the GoBot ambulance, is a much better robot and ambulance toy.
Low bar, but yes, which is the point, right?
They also had a lot more puns in the names for the GoBots.
So yes. I would actually argue as mini bots that I actually kind of prefer the GoBots to the Transformers mini bots. Plus they're cheaper. Like they're just fun to play with, and I don't know. Like as a little kid, like I enjoyed the transformations, or the simplicity, I should say, of the transformations.
Yeah, GoBots being in that bigger than a mini bot, but not like the deluxe size Transformers. Like they hit that sweet spot of being more fun to play with than the mini bots. I mean, some mini bots I really like. Like I really like Cosmos.
Right.
But as much as I love Bumblebee, it's not a great toy. You know. Now the Missing Link one is, but that's a different subject.
Right. That didn't exist back then.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, let's face it, Gears, Brawn, Huffer, those are not like the best toys out there.
Brawn is so bad. It's terrible.
And yeah, the GoBots, the smaller GoBots were much, much better than those. You know, they weren't all winners. I mean, Tank is pretty lame.
Yeah. When I wanted to talking about like Ironhide and Ratchet, you know, of course, as we know, like those came from the Diaclone era or whatever, but you know, they ported them to Transformers, but GoBots did better at having weird looking robots that didn't necessarily have traditional faces. Like I think Stax here still looks pretty good, you know, even though compared to Ironhide and Ratchet, as far as like robots that don't have human-ish faces, right? I even think, and I may catch some flack for this, but I even think like Bug Bite looks better than Ironhide and Ratchet, even though they're doofy as hell. You know,
if you're gonna say Bug Bite's better than Bumblebee, then that's a thumbs down. Yeah.
No. But you know, like I like how GoBots, you know, some of those bigger ones that don't have the human faces, to me they kind of feel like batteries not included, and they give off that kind of like alien robot vibe a bit without being weird, like just kind of junky like Ironhide and Ratchet, which you know are easy to pick on. They're by far some of the worst. But
I'm sorry, Rob, you have another reference that is going over Christian's head there. You may have to explain to him what batteries not included is.
Google it. It's an 80s movie where a bunch of little robots come to life. Yeah.
You were just saying that
it's really about
disappointment because you open your toy and you can't do all the features because they didn't include batteries. It made sense to me that I was the wrong thing.
No, it came out like around the same time Short Circuit did, I think. Maybe a little before Short Circuit.
That's another
maybe you know that
movie.
One. Maybe that one. Okay.
Johnny Five is alive. But yeah, the similarities like very greebly in terms of the robot parts for Johnny Five, Short Circuit, batteries not included, and all the like the head, like middle part of the car head GoBots, which were like that was all imported from like the same kind of thing from Japan, right? And there was like imported like from a different thing than what the like kind of smaller average size GoBots were. And that's kind of another similarity.
The smaller ones I know were all like Machine Robo stuff. I don't know if like the Bug Bites and if those came from a different line or what. I don't know the history.
Yeah. Like who was the one? Was it Psycho? Was that the like the red and black and the
Psycho.
car, the kind of future?
It was also Her Fiend.
Yeah, Hair Fiend. And then Baron Von Joy.
Destroyer does kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
But you did have some like really cool ones with that. Like I've got the GoBots Warpath, which is the black helicopter. Like that's a really cool toy. Bay C, the bigger super GoBot space shuttle they made was really neat looking. So I mean they had some nice toys, some good engineering, and again like stuff you didn't get from the Transformers line. Like one of my favorite GoBots, you know, one that I've repurchased as an adult is Dive. Because he turns into a freaking submarine. And he's floppy at this point. And, you know, basically only the arms kind of
like most GoBots
doing things. Yeah. But I mean, again, like if you compare it to like Brawn and Huffer, it's not like those two dudes like move very well. But this is just, you know, fun little detail toy. And what's that?
He said, yeah, it's way better than the likes of Brawn Huffer.
Does he have an upside down submarine mode?
Yeah, there you go. There,
whoa, too much violence. We're gonna get canceled. Yeah. Careful.
I know. But this is a very this if this was like sitting on someone's desk and you thought it was like a Matchbox car submarine, you know, you wouldn't be faulted for thinking that. And I think that was one of the things too is with the GoBots is that they did look like a Matchbox car, Hot Wheels car, whether it was the the jets or the cars or something. You know, again, some of them got kind of weird. You know, like Coptor and Tank weren't the greatest looking, but you know, Crasher, that was a cool race car.
Cool. Crasher's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Meow. Another thing that they did better here, they did motorcycles better than Transformers did for a while.
Yeah.
Psycho's not complex or anything, but I don't know. At the end of the day, I think he makes a tough-looking little robot.
Yeah.
Even though you do have the engine being a separate part, kind of sucks. But yeah.
I had the Super GoBot Cycle, and that was really cool because his engine became his backpack.
Like I don't know if there was a Transformer equivalent, but I thought the Super GoBots in general are. I mean, they didn't do a lot of them. Like you mentioned, Spacey, and then of course Leader One and Psykill. I'm not sure which other ones they did.
Well, Warpath. They did some later ones. I had one, was a Guardian where he was like a green and brown tank. I
don't know if that
really
was
cool
too good.
looking.
Was he?
Okay. I liked him a lot. Yeah. Yeah, his tank mode and robot mode were both really neat. He had like almost like a Megatron like cannon, like a big green cannon, but he held it versus being attached to his arm kind of thing. They had some really, really nice toys, and I think the thing that hurt them the most was just the fiction sucked.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if.
Can you elaborate on that?
The cartoon was made a lot cheaper. I think Hasbro deciding to go to Marvel and asking Marvel to write the fiction for Transformers was a huge, positive idea for them. And then look how well it did for them for the G.I. Joe line as well. Is like how many people of our generation, the young Generation X, older millennials, like G.I. Joe and Transformers, like those characters whether it's Megatron, Optimus Prime, Snake Eyes, Duke, Cobra Commander, like they're ingrained into our collective psyche. Like Leader One and Psykill a little bit, but like Leader One was just bland as all fucking get out.
It's a gray plane.
Yeah.
Weren't we just talking about how exciting plain-colored planes are?
Yeah, and he had the personality of a gray plane.
Well, looking back, it's like, oh yeah, they went with Marvel. That makes a lot of sense. Marvel wasn't back then what it is today.
I mean, Hanna-Barbera was big too, though, right?
I just think Transformers was a little bit aged up, and Hanna-Barbera was doing like Gummy Bears and whatever. I mean, I don't even know.
Yeah.
But they were doing real bad cartoons. GoBots is like Looney Tunes, which is not Hanna-Barbera, but and Transformers was closer to like Robotech. I mean, it wasn't quite there, but there's some dumb stuff that happened in the Transformers cartoon, but not as
let's say like
what happened in GoBots.
Well, we're not saying Transformers is Shakespeare level of writing or anything. Like it's a silly 80s kids cartoon with continuity errors. A lot of stuff doesn't make sense, but it had enough personality to be really memorable, which is what mattered back then. Whereas GoBots the cartoon is pretty forgettable.
Yeah, and there were consequences in Transformers,
right.
but in I lost my thought. Fuck. Had a good one though. Oh, Carnage in C minor.
Remember when
Carnage in C minor is the worst?
And stayed that way for a long time.
What? Carnage in C minor is bad. I think Bot's worse.
Carnage in C minor is every fucking GoBots episode.
Oh.
That's what I'm trying to say.
GoBots wish it could make a Carnage in C minor.
Yeah.
I have to sit and watch GoBots, which I'm not going to do. But like, I wonder if they were as rife with the animation errors and stuff.
Yeah. I remember.
There was a much smaller cast too in GoBots. Like the cartoon had like mainly 3 good guys, 3 bad guys, and that's like most of the episode. Whereas Transformers was more toys all the time. Kill them all off, or we'll just never see them again.
I'm always shocked when I see GoBot. Like when I look up a GoBot, I'm like, oh, that dude was in the cartoon. Like Puzzler was in the cartoon. Like I don't remember that. And I think he was only in like 1 or 2 episodes. But again, they didn't. I don't think they gave him any personality or even like. I think it was just like a monster sort of thing. So Devastator. Yeah, like Devastator, like had a personality, and like the voice actors were better at conveying the character than anything we got from GoBots.
Maybe we just had in Transformers just such a great voice cast. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know who the voice cast was for GoBots. Maybe they're all great too, or maybe they weren't. I really don't know. It's hard for me to separate like what would be my rose tinted glasses versus kind of more objective fat of maybe no, it was just worse across the board objectively. Maybe it was. But we need somebody that has watched GoBots cartoons.
I think in general, like a lot of the '80s cartoons, honestly, weren't very good. I think that's really what set Transformers apart, and like I think that's part of the reason that we're still talking about it. This many years later, is that that was legitimately one of the few good '80s cartoons.
Even though again, it's still silly, it still has a lot of the dumb '80s cartoons.
It's a kid's show,
but yeah, I mean, like Ninja Turtles is terrible. I've rewatched some of that as an adult, and I love Ninja Turtles, but that cartoon is rough. It is. Right. It's better than GoBots, but it is not a good cartoon. Like the first 5 episodes that make up the first season isn't too bad. There's continuity and stuff with it, but it gets pretty dumb really quick. But,
yeah,
I think one of the things
that watching He-Man too.
Yeah, Ninja Turtles is like more like that He-Man level of monster of the week nonsense.
But I think one of the things that makes some of those properties staying better for us is the fact that they did fairly quickly come out with something that was aged up a bit. The Ninja Turtles movie, like that was dark, man. Like that, like if you saw that when you were a kid, like it's like, oh shit, this is real. Like same thing with Transformers the movie, man. Like Optimus Prime dies, man. This shit's got consequences. G.I. Joe, not so much the movie, but the G.I. Joe comic is like, oh, this dude's just gonna off like a whole bunch of G.I. Joes while they're standing in a ditch. So you had parts of that fiction, you had parts of that property that just said we're gonna take it up a notch. And GoBots never did. GoBots was always just very kid centric.
And for what it's worth, the Ninja Turtles movie wasn't taking it up a notch. It's just hands down the best comic book movie ever made. I'll fight anyone on that. It's based off the Mirage comics, which I mean, they had funny sci-fi adventures even in that, but it took like some of the best Mirage comics and shoved them in together to make a movie. So no wonder that it's so damn good, in my opinion.
Yeah, the age appropriateness of like Ninja Turtles went like not for kids. We're gonna make it for kids, and then kind of met in the middle for the movie.
Yeah.
Shredder gets off in the first issue of the comic.
He gets better.
Yeah,
ish. If you like worms, but it gets pretty dumb. But which it still pisses me off that we've had anniversary editions of the Turtles movie, and they still haven't done like an extended edition. There's so much deleted footage out there from like the German TV release of the Ninja Turtles movie and stuff, and leaked footage that comes out. Yeah, there's a totally different ending. There's a scene where like Shredder's like, there's a lot more with like him presenting to the foot, like totally different camera shots, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff that got cut from that movie that is out on YouTube.
Yeah.
Maybe one day they'll do a good DVD or Blu-ray or whatever the hell digital release of it. But another thing that GoBots definitely did better than Transformers, and that's powerful living rocks. So
there you go.
Like Transformers, definitely has some basic transforming shapes with the cassettes, and those are pretty good, but they're not powerful living rocks. So, I mean,
are we finally getting to the true reason that you wanted to do this episode, Rob, so you can show off your Rock Lords?
I'll use any excuse to talk about Rock Lords that I can. But really, it was just about the combiners is what spurned it on for me.
Took until 2018 for Transformers to make a rock.
And who was that? Was that like one of the ones that you take apart and push together or something?
No, that was 2022.
Oh, I just remember they finally said they were like, "We're going to do Rock Lords." Got it. Yeah. And when they were like, we're going to do a Rock Lord, and I was super excited, and then I was like, I saw it, and I was just like,
not good.
That is not a Rock Lord
at all.
You made a Flintstones car.
Yeah.
Not even that good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, GoBots. It pisses me off when we get these GoBot homage Transformers. Like we got that 3-pack, and because of the way the licensing works, where Hasbro owns the names and kind of the fiction, but Bandai still owns the molds. It just pisses me off that we're not in the designs. Yeah, that we're not getting better. You know, we're not getting better new versions of those GoBots because I've got some of the ones who was it Action Toys that made
Action
them
52 or something.
Action 52, and I want to get a couple more of them. But
oh wait, no,
again,
that's an NES game, Action 52. It's really bad. I think you're right. Yeah,
it was Action Toys. It was Action Toys.
Yeah, but like they're not GoBots either. They're Machine Robo.
They're Machine Robo, yeah. So like,
but they
like
did
the
that deluxe
the cartoon,
Cycle. The deluxe Cycle that was super good from that line. That is so good.
It is, but like he doesn't have the Cycle toy. I'm sorry, the Cycle cartoon face.
Yeah,
with the personality. So it just kind of sucks that in the way things work out, right? And unless some sort of licensing changes hands, which I doubt, we'll never kind of get that perfect mix of like an MP level, not even MP level. Just give me like a legacy level Cycle. Something that looks like a Studio Series Cycle, something that looks like the cartoon, but transforms, and better articulation, all that kind of thing. Give me his grabby hands.
Hey, with the eradication of the toy industry, it's bound to happen at some point. Hot Wheels and Transformers happened. So anything can happen.
Yeah, there have been stranger bedfellows, that's for sure.
But there's still not a masterpiece Jazz. Some stuff just seems like it'll never happen. Which again, third party's got us covered, but it just surprises me that some of that stuff they couldn't get worked out.
Right.
There's barely a deluxe Studio Series Jazz from the movie where he was the main character. So yeah, that's just weird licensing issues.
Yeah.
Which again means we'll probably never get a Hair Fiend because he was a Porsche, right?
You talking about Mirage?
Yeah, I'm talking about Mirage.
Cool.
Yeah, he said Jazz, but yeah,
I'm sorry.
Porsche,
Yes,
general,
yeah, Mirage. I apologize.
There's
Yeah,
two
Porsche.
Studio Series Jazzes, and they both are fine.
Yeah, no, I meant the Pete Davidson Mirage from the movie where
yes,
it got
there is
released.
barely a figure of that. It looks nothing like the dude.
Well, that and like, did it even really come out in the U.S.? It wasn't just Japan.
Came out here.
What are you talking about?
I don't know what I'm talking about. I guess my broad point is like that was a main character that his toy hardly got released, and just shows you like the weirdness.
Like not releasing a Bumblebee toy, right?
Yeah.
Mirage got Baby Yoda. It's like they didn't realize he was going to be the most popular thing in the movie. Just like they're like, oh, Baby Yoda, he's just a prop.
No, they knew Baby Yoda was going to be popular, and they purposely held back all the merch so it wouldn't get leaked. Mirage was just like, he's going to be the main character. Like we hired Pete Davidson, one of the most popular comedians of this day and age, to do his voice. The movie's pretty much centered around him and Noah Diaz, and good luck finding a toy of the guy.
So weird.
Yeah,
and it's so obvious that it was supposed to be Jazz
available,
at this point, right? It felt like a last minute change or something. I don't know.
He's kind of got weird. He's got like Hound's powers and Jazz's alt mode, and
it's live action movie. Why do I even care?
Yeah. And your girl.
What?
Huh?
Do you guys not fucking hear me or what? Like, what's the problem? Like,
no, you said, and you're a girl?
No, and your
girl. Your girl.
He stole your girl. Pete Davidson does that to all women. That's what he
does.
does.
Oh, I got you now.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was really funny, Paul. I really liked it.
Thank you, Christian. I need that affirmation.
I thought it was great.
I need that affirmation or I might kill myself. My God. We just got demonetized.
Yeah. You mean unalive yourself?
That's right.
Is what you meant.
I deleted. I will delete myself, as they say.
And I don't know. So yeah, I mean, GoBots, didn't really live long enough for it to keep challenging Transformers. That's the real challenge of the GoBots.
Right.
and they
failed.
lost. Yeah, but they definitely hit some good marks that I think Transformers missed for their brief run.
I think also too some of the originality in some of the designs was fun. Like GoBots like Vamp. He's just like this space alien, like green vampire robot car guy. Like that's a cool freaking toy.
I like Pincher, Scorpion, Vamp. Those guys are cool.
Yeah. All three of those are.
I like this guy.
Top-notch.
I don't know what his name is, but I like his colors, and
What
makes
does he turn into? Is he one of the monstrous ones?
No.
Okay.
He turns into this. I mean, basically his legs fold up and he puts his arm back. He has little wheels on him, so he will roll.
Yeah.
Good job, GoBot.
Yeah.
Very marketable.
What does he transform into? This. There you go.
That's a great question.
You had me at this.
Before
I saw it, I knew it was going to be great.
Better than Transformers. 80s fast food tie-ins. The Wendy's GoBots are superior than the Happy Meal Transformers.
Well,
also, they got released at 4 locations.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
But they're not more expensive. And
one of my very first converting robots was GuideStar.
Oh my God. Is that the space shuttle?
Yeah. Found it at a market with a hoodless Wild Rider. So I got both of them at the same time.
But yeah, Christian, can you please explain GuideStar's transformation for the audience?
Yeah, so GuideStar is really complicated. It just goes boop, and then it's transformed.
The space shuttle.
Yeah.
And you can extend out some thighs, and that's it.
You have no arms.
My copy, even when I bought it in probably 2001, 2000 or something, couldn't stand anymore because it's friction. So you just like boop and horrible. Friction joints don't belong in transforming toys.
No. But I think all the Wendy's GoBots had friction joints, and so they all do the same thing.
Yay.
Yeah.
But I had one.
I never really looked at these. These are really bad. Like now that I'm looking at it, it's like, oh, I've seen some of these around. I never really looked at them twice and think, hey, what is that? Oh, it's a Wendy's GoBot. But they are bad. And yeah, the fact that they're better than some Wendy's Transformers, like, man, that's a low bar. These
McDonald's Happy Meals Transformers, yeah.
Not the Beast Wars ones, the mini bot ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, the expensive ones. What's funny is these Wendy's GoBots from 1986 are literally on par with the Armada fast food toys that came out. Like, they're like that one helicopter dude looks just like whatever the helicopter dude was in the Armada
Breeze
toy.
and Cyclonus.
Yeah.
That being said, you did actually have to pay for the GoBots from Wendy's. I think they were $1 with the purchase of Frosty. So there was not a pack-in like a Happy Meal thing. So there was a cost to it. Which, I mean, back in like 86, $1 was,
that's notable.
$5 a day.
That's $4,000 in today's money.
Yeah.
Are we scraping the sludge off the bottom of the barrel comparing the fast food versions of the toy line?
I think we're getting to the
towards the
meatiest part of the burger is what we're doing.
This is like,
I want to mention
Where's
the
the beef?
row guns, because Transformers didn't have row guns except Megatron, and I think the row guns are better toys than Megatron.
What?
So they shoot caps.
Yeah.
GoBots has some weird things in it that are just random lines pulled together, I think is what Christian's saying.
Yeah.
I had
Row guns
one
are
of those
crazy,
laser gun dudes that was big and it was like a double barrel thing. Basically his arms became.
Yeah.
He was a big. Like
One of the
as a
ray guns.
kid, I was like, it's this big. It was probably like this,
Yeah.
but and it was like
As a
red
kid,
and
it was
blue.
the size of your arm.
Yeah, it wasn't that big, but I remember I was like, this
Yeah,
isn't a Transformer, Mom. Why did you get me this? Like, what is snobby snob? But I still played with it
Yeah.
until I broke it.
I will
Yeah,
say
these
those
things
were
are
the
really
ones I was
funny looking.
allowed to bring to my preschool or daycare because they were like the cheaper ones.
Because they were guns.
And then they did.
And they didn't look like an actual gun.
Yeah. No, the one guy had like the red head, so like it didn't look
Yeah.
like an actual gun. His head was red to differentiate it. But there was more of a role play like element to some of the GoBot stuff that
Yeah, they
the
were,
Transformers would have.
I mean, for what it's worth, Megatron is supposed to be role play as well. Like, him and Soundwave, that micro change buy-in
Yeah.
stuff. But they were, of course, made to look realistic, which is, questionable for a gun, for a kid's line. But the things we used to get away with.
There was some comment like a month or so ago, like someone being pissed off that Perceptor's microscope doesn't work anymore. It's like, dude, come on. Just like, how great did it work to begin with?
Yeah.
Right.
It was like two pieces of plastic looking through it. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
What can we bitch about? There were some.
Really everything.
I know. I didn't know that
all day.
the original Mutagen Man from Ninja Turtles, like you could put water in it to make the stuff inside float around or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I know some people were mad at Super 7 when that new one came out and you couldn't put water in it anymore because it. And I was just like, I didn't even know that was a feature of the original because.
Sounds gross.
Have you seen 80s Ninja Turtle stuff? It was mostly all ooze, and 80s were nothing but like boogers and slime and snot and garbage pail kids and
creepy crawlers.
If you say so.
I'm just gonna keep my Transformers. I don't think you guys have convinced me
Rob.
that GoBots overall is better. It just had slightly better combiners.
Christian,
I mean,
you're on the right side of history, man. GoBots sucked. I don't care what anything.
Well, I think you guys, by this point,
You
all know
suck.
that I started on GoBots.
Yeah.
Like that was the first blockbuster find. I watched the Gobotron saga, which I thought was pretty good. And then when I got to Transformers, like I went back and got the other robot thing next to it. Like I never looked back.
Yeah.
I
I think to me the whole point is just that, and again it's like Death Star versus Unicron at this point, right? Like that level of tired arguments. But people like to dunk on GoBots, but they did a lot of cool things, for their day is really just kind of the point. And there's a bunch of fun little toys in there. And then again, I think Puzzler and Monstrous are great, which is why they're also, they're the expensive GoBots other than like, some like rare Rock Lord stuff and whatnot. But
Or some of the Japanese stuff that like didn't get imported too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're
Yeah,
sick
I'll
of Transformers, check out GoBots for sure.
Yeah.
But, I don't think it's required reading.
No. But if you just like the toys, there's some good ones there.
Yeah, I mean they're fun and they're fairly cheap to find and pick up.
Yeah.
Which also, like, if you like to have nice quality toys, good fucking luck.
Yeah.
Like, you can find good quality versions of the old Transformer stuff out there, and you pay more for it. But my God, trying to find like ones that weren't out there with buried under dirt with their Snake versus Army dudes, right? Like GoBots got played with hard.
And then even when you do find one that like looks pretty good, like it's gonna be a floppy mess.
Yeah.
Right.
It always surprises me that I actually have my GoBots standing up. Some of the they managed to do it, but it's also probably like a domino effect. It's waiting for one of them to kick over, and then that'll be it.
Another one that I really like a lot is one of Anna's favorite, Pathfinder. That was a really cool design.
I gotta look that up again. I can't think of it off the top of my head.
She was like the GoBot UFO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, because they always repaint Cosmos into it, even though it's
Right.
totally different.
Yeah.
Shape and transformation and everything.
Yeah. And again, that's why the That's why those Entertainment Earth Transformers with GoBot names just frustrate the living daylights out of me because they're like, Bug Bite's not even the right colors.
Just give them a different
yeah.
name. They're not supposed to be GoBot homages. They just put GoBot names on them because they
I
got them.
know, but it's just frustrating.
Yeah, and Pathfinder's definitely a better looking robot than Cosmos, but again,
Yeah.
Pathfinder costs more, right?
Yeah. And if you find one of her, she's not gonna likely stand very well.
Mine's standing, but Chrome ain't so hot.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting on pretty much every GoBot.
I always like Fidor. Fidor, I thought was a badass looking spaceship jet. He's the red.
Yeah,
He was like the GoBot equivalent of Shockwave, where he was kind of like the scientist, like might help the Decepticons, might blow up the planet. You never quite know.
yeah.
I like Scales.
Which one was Scales? I remember the name.
It's like the pullback and it
Oh.
rears up into a snake monster thing.
Oh yeah, the race car, the F1 race car.
Yeah.
And then what was the other blue
That's better than Top Spin or Twin Twist.
Yeah.
Zod is the other one.
Zod, yeah. Zod was one that was just like, what the... And like now we know it's because it's from a different toy line, but Zod and Scales were just like, what the hell are these things? Like, how are these part of GoBots? But yeah, Zod was really weird looking.
Yeah, Transformers, as we know, when they, kind of like, oh man, we have a hit on our hands, they started licensing other toys, to flesh it out. And especially those early couple of years. But yeah, GoBots did it even more and just was like, oh, this is totally off the wall. We'll still just go ahead and throw it in there. Like the robot gun thingies that are really silly looking. They just, man, I think they just bought like anything, even remotely robot. They're like, cool, put it in there. We'll throw GoBots on the name.
I think it's how we end up with like Roadbuster and Whirl, but not that tank thing that came along with them, because Hasbro did kind of choose to keep a kind of close aesthetic.
Someone made some good choices, probably without realizing it.
You know what? Or they tried to get it, and they're like, well, you can have two, not three. And they're like, okay, well, I guess I'll take those two.
Like there's a triple changer that didn't get made.
The drop shot triple changer.
Yeah, the helicopter dude.
Yep.
Yeah. But the Super GoBot tank, what's his name? Destroyer, where it's like the same style as Bug Bite and Psycho, where like the top of the robot, the top of the tank becomes the robot head, and it's just like a dude walking around with a big old turret coming out like of his forehead.
Hey, he was Lockdown before Lockdown was cool. His big gun face. And he had real treads, which are definitely in pieces these days.
Oh,
yeah, I picked up one of those destroyers just in an auction one time, and it was like bad. It's like really bad. I do have a Spacey, a Super GoBot Spacey, and she's good, but destroyer not. No, thank you.
One other checkbox for GoBots, more female characters.
Yep,
that's true.
Yeah,
as in that it had them, and it sold toys of them. Yeah, even if like Crasher here doesn't have her pink face or anything like that, but they made a toy and they put Crasher on it, and it's supposed to be that.
I think Pathfinder was in the show pretty often, at least the episodes that I've seen. She was in there a lot.
Yeah.
Smallfoot as well.
Yeah.
But hey, we're finally getting Missing Link RC.
When's that
a billion years later. I think this year, right? I don't know when.
Yeah. Missing Link Pathfinder when? Never. That's the answer.
Who do you hate more? Like if you had like the two of them in like back in the day MTV Celebrity Deathmatch thing, Scooter or Wheelie?
Oh, I think Wheelie's more annoying.
Okay.
Scooter.
I think Wheelie would kill Scooter though.
Absolutely.
Savage Land Wheelie. Come on.
Yeah, IDW Wheelie would definitely kill Scooter.
G1 Wheelie would kill Scooter.
Like, because he's got that fiction where he like grew up in the jungle or some crap.
Yeah.
from like a book tape or something. Yeah, he didn't fuck around.
No.
Scooter probably wouldn't last long.
He rubs
But
the
I think
lotion
Scooter's-
on its skin, or it gets the hose again.
But Scooter is a better toy than Wheelie.
Yeah.
Sure.
Again,
Sure.
kind of a low bar.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, the wheelie car mode's still awesome.
Aren't we getting a new wheelie, Christian? Isn't that on the leak list?
Yeah, it's in the Walmart classic
Like a
whatever thing line,
Deluxe?
the retro line.
that
could
Titan's
be, That
Return?
could be very cool. That could be awesome.
Was it Titan's Return that Wheelie last came out in as like a new mold? Was like a
Studio Series.
luck.
He came out about 2 years ago. He was a cool
Yeah.
class.
what was the one before that then?
Titan's Return.
The Titans
It
Return,
was
yeah.
okay. Oh, I thought that was a really good toy.
The Legends one especially is really nice.
So who knows what they'll put in that deluxe pack? Maybe it's Wheelie and Daniel or something.
All I know is the one that came
It's the
from Grimlock
core.
was not
Yeah.
good.
No.
Oh, you don't think it's a
No,
new
it's not that
deluxe
one.
toy?
I don't think it's a new deluxe toy. No. Could be. I mean, Sea Spray is in that line first.
That
and
was my
he's new, so
expectation,
who
was that it's a new toy that's a deluxe, because all the other mini bots are being deluxe.
knows? Yeah, I don't know. The
We'll
two
find
that
out.
exist right now are repaints, so who knows?
What if it actually
the,
turns out it's Wheelie from the movies?
It's his G1 retro, so probably not.
That's
No,
what
no,
they're
it's still
making
gonna
you
be-
think, but it's going to be from the movies.
Yes.
I see.
It'll
It'll
yeah.
be sort of like the
It'll be the Revenge of the Fallen Wheelie in G1 colors.
There we go.
Yeah,
That's what everybody wants.
Today, Junior?
like when they did Age of Extinction strafe with the retro that had the Technobot strafe picture on the packaging.
That's right.
Whoops.
Yeah, if you have the core class wheelie in robot mode and the Legends / Titans Return wheelie in car mode, you have a decent wheelie, but each one is kind of meh in the other modes. The car mode on the core class especially is atrocious.
Yeah.
Could be a new one. We'll find out next year. He's not a GoBot though. He's a guy.
As long as next year happens, we'll find out.
There you go. Well, do you have
I think
anything
I'm
else
handing
to
it back
add?
to you.
Or?
I think we about wound down.
Yeah.
You guys should've
We're
gone to
like
PodCon. That's all I'll say. You guys aren't real fans.
Sorry, Paul.
we get 2 GoBots episodes a decade, so we've met the quota.
There you go. All right. Well, thanks, guys, for joining us. Thank you to everyone in the chat that was participating. So, as Bedford in the chat said, you don't want to make sure to take the Rock Lords for granted. So,
Don't do it.
but
You're
all
made
right.
of
Well,
plastic.
thanks, guys, and we will see everyone next week.
Fine.
Bye.